Walking on sunshine. Oh!
What's up everybody, another beautiful day in the War Within Alpha, and today we're taking a look at the hero class Herald of the Sun for Retribution Paladins. Now keep in mind this is Alpha, so anything can change, be reworked or nuked from orbit. So let's get to it. Starting off we have the main pillar for the Herald of the Sun tree, Dawnlight. Casting Wake of Ashes causes your next two holy power spending abilities to apply Dawnlight to your target, which deals taking damage to your enemies and healing to your friendlies over 8 seconds. Now 10% of Dawnlight's damage and healing radiates to nearby allies or enemies, reduced beyond 5 targets. So a ton of damage over time that splashes to nearby targets, and you can have Dawnlight up on multiple targets, which means more splashy splash damn. Then we have Morningstar or Gleaming Rays, which is a choice node. Morningstar, every 2.5 seconds your next Dawnlight damage or healing is increased by 5%, stacks up to 10 times, and it will stack twice as fast while you're out of combat. So you know, running between packs, waiting for a boss. Gleaming Rays, while a Dawnlight is active, your spender deals 10% more damage or healing. Now Morningstar, like I said, allows you to start a pack or a boss with a burstier Dawnlight. Otherwise, you just continuously buff your Dawnlight damage throughout a fight. Currently though, you pretty much always have a Dawnlight active, so outside of moving between packs or before a boss pull or possibly during a boss mechanic with forced downtime, you'll pretty much never stack this up, and it doesn't seem to be anything you play around too much, except on your opener. Gleaming Rays is even more fire and forget, but very strong, since like I said, Dawnlight is constantly, always, forever active, so it's just a 10% spender bonus really. Aurora, following a Wake of Ashes you gain Divine Purpose. Finally! Which gives even more momentum to our rotation following Wake of Ashes, something this tree is kinda all about. Or well, both hero trees really. Making Wake of Ashes into a big moment. This does make it very easy to overcap on holy power if you aren't careful, but it is a ton of fun to play with. Luminosity, 10% increased crit chance for Hammer of Wrath and Divine Storm. Boring, but effective. And Blizzard can easily use this as a tuning knob if needed to tune up AoE or single target. Plus, we do like crits. Sunseer, Hammer of Wrath, and Divine Storm crits applies a dot for 4 seconds, dealing radiant damage. It fits the theme of the Sun Paladin well. They're supposed to be more dot driven overall. It also further increases the value to crit as a stat, so it kinda goes hand in hand with the previous talent Luminosity. Then we have Second Sunrise. Divine Storm and Hammer of Wrath have a 15% chance to cast again at 30% effectiveness. So, Elemental Shaman Overload, but it's holy? Now this is extremely fun to play with on AoE. You're already spewing out Divine Storms, flying across packs, and now you get even more visually pleasing AF. Now on top of this we have a choice node, Blessing of Anshi or Lingering Radiance. So Blessing of Anshi gives your damage and healing over time a chance to increase Hammer of Wrath damage by a mere 200% and makes it usable regardless of target's health. Lingering Radiance, Dawnlight leaves a greater judgment on enemies when it expires or is extended, or well, refreshed. So Blessing of Anshi is the single target choice, occasionally giving you a big Hammer of Wrath to smite your target with. Then we just pray it proc Second Sunrise for an extra empowered hammer slap, although at 30% effectiveness, but still? Lingering Radiance, however, is a little bit nuts at the moment, so we'll see where it ends up tuning wise, because currently you can apply and refresh a whole lot of Dawnlights. So on AoE you pretty much have perma judgment up on a lot of targets, because you keep refreshing and extending Dawnlights. Same on single target really, but a lot less impactful there, but still good. Moving on to Solar Grace. You get 4% haste for 12 seconds each time you apply Dawnlight. Multiple stacks may overlap, and extending or refreshing Dawnlight counts. So if you get one Dawnlight and then a new one after 5 seconds, it will stack but not refresh the first Solar Grace buff. Now this talent alone on AoE sustains the rotation by an insane amount. You get so much haste, making the rotation very fast-paced and spammy, but extremely fun, bombarding your enemies with divine storms. Now for the coup de grâce, Sun's avatar. During Avenging Wrath, you become linked to your Dawnlights with a solar beam, dealing radiant damage to enemies that pass through it or healing to players passing through it, which is reduced beyond 5 targets. And when you activate Avenging Wrath, you apply Dawnlight to 4 nearby targets, and Dawnlight duration is increased by 25%. The latter, at the moment, doesn't matter too much. So this one makes everything just a little bit nuts. Hopefully it stays because it's fun as hell, but combined with the Radiant Glory talent in the Retribution tree, you currently have 100% uptime on wings, and anytime they activate or refresh, you get 4 Dawnlights, and anytime you wake of ashes, you gain 2 Dawnlights, and you proc wings, giving you 4 Dawnlights, and the loop continues. Take into account the Solar Grace talent, giving us 4% haste per Dawnlight, and with 6 of them up, that's easily 4, 12, carried to 1, 24% haste, which you will have a very high uptime on. And during Avenging Wrath, your Dawnlights also deals 25% more damage, which, keep in mind, splashes to nearby targets. So yeah, a ton of trickle damage via dots and a huge upsurge in resources due to the insane amount of haste, which works great on both AoE and single target. The tree itself supports both AoE and single target and can be built around either. AoE favoring the non-stop Divine Storm spamming, while single target leans more into Hammer of Wrath slaps to bridge the gap, and both utilizing a ton of dot damage on top of that, as well as insane amounts of haste, which makes for a very fun, fast-paced rotation. Now other than that, there is also of course some utility defensive talents. Illumine, or Will of the Dawn. So Illumine, Dawnlight reduces the movement speed of enemies by 50% or increases allies' movement speed. Now I say screw your allies, Dawnlights are for melting packs, but overall this feels more PvP-y in my book. A slow that'll only slow a few targets in a pack with unpredictable, uncontrollable uptime that can have horrible consequences in a dungeon. Will of the Dawn, on the other hand, 5% increased movement speed while above 80%. So, you know, permanent uptime for Ret Palace. But when you do ever drop below 35% health, your movement speed is increased by 40%. So now we can also pretend to be cauterizing mages and zoom around when we're about to die. The only difference is they also get cheat death. Overall, not much to say. 5% extra movement speed is beyond broken. Now fight me in the comments, but moving faster is always the better stat. Having it also make you faster when you fuck up and stand in shit so you can run faster. Awesome. And lastly, an eternal flame. Replaces Word of Glory and makes it spicier. It now leaves a hot on top of the direct heal and heals you for 25% more on yourself, which to be fair is the only time I'd ever use that heal. The rest will have to fend for themselves. Now I'm overall kinda hyped for this tree, been a lot of fun trying. Overall it doesn't change how you play Retribution, it just improves on what Retribution already does, and it gives the rotation a lot of momentum, making it feel very smooth to play. And anytime it feels like it's slowing down, Wake of Ashes is back off cooldown and you can slam it for a new burst window. Since, well, a lot of fun stuff happens when you press it. You gain holy power, you gain a free divine purpose, you get wings, you throw out 4 Dawnlights, giving you a ton of haste. Oh, and the Dawnlights also apply judgments to targets, none of which dramatically changes how you play, but it makes it more fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Herald of the Sun for Retribution Paladins. Now if you have any questions at all, hit me up in the comments. You can also become a patron, Twitch sub, and get access to the Stankie Discord. You can get things like shoutouts and videos, help with anything PvE related. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and slap that notification bell. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.